Hello there, it's Josh here. I would say on a sunny Saturday morning, but it's a bit overcast and drizzly, but not overly hot. Hurrah! I thought I would do a quick video. I say quick, I'll try and keep this as snappy as I can. With today's four pokes, which you can see in front of you. As always, I have stuck to my content in the various different sections as my way in, and have worked my way through them all and picked out what I think, well, those that I think are a value price and that I like most. Of course, often enough, I get some of them wrong, which is why we have the odd systematic approach. Section 2 horses, those section 2 and section 3 with a red H next to them. If everything's a bit confusing, you don't know what's going on, there's this blog content explained document which explains the blog content, and there's the results tab at the top, the latest of them for July in the season to date, and that explains how everything's ticking along with various different aspects also. So yes, obviously you can use all of this content in any way you please, as a way in and starting point, if nothing else. And of course, there's various different comments from the RTP tribe, which you can also use to help in your own punting deliberations, I suppose, if you wish as well. Where am I going to start? Blackheath, who is a losing tip at Ascot from last time out. He was a poke at a price on the back of that Yarmouth performance where Tom rode him there, and he's back on here today. They went a steady enough pace and he quickened up off an even pace. That's what the sectionals indicated. That race didn't work out too well, although this Haydock run, his return in the first run of the season, wasn't too bad. That was decent performance, and this is it's an okay class 2, but only that. It's nothing like the Bunbury Cup, and if you watch that back, that kind of interested me for the Ascot tip. He tanked through that. He didn't get a run up the far side rail, and he was much better than the finishing position there. I think he may have been in the group behind the front kind of two in that bunch if he'd have got a clean run. And if so, he may not have been put in at 18 today. I can't understand why he was put in 18 to 1. He travels strongly. He seems to be coming into his own at age 5. Well, I think his trainer said that before. He's kind of matured. And as we saw with our winning tip, Militia, yesterday, he's a 5-year-old sprinter, kind of 5 to 7 furlong horse who is now really coming into his own and is putting up career bests. So we can hope that's the case with Blackheath. I think he's got the form to get involved here. I think he could be better than 89. You can see these two RPRs here would suggest there might be a bit of leeway in this mark. I like the fact Tom Marquand's been booked. The fact he's at Doncaster is interesting. He's probably got a couple for his boss in William Haggis. And a couple more Fred Walker, I think, but you could look at his rides at Doncaster today if you want. Given the meetings that are going on today, it could be significant he's here, and hopefully he well, he knows the horse well, etc. The one other thing that interested me was pace, in the sense that, as you can see here, I should say I'm within the excellent Gigi's goal as always. There's not a lot of it. There's not really any out and out front runners, and he may be able to do what he did at Yarmouth and kind of saunter up and sit prominently. He shouldn't have an excuse, I don't think. So I think there's more to come. This is much weaker than the last two races. He travelled okay at Ascot. He then got moved out into the middle, wrong part of the track. Maybe it was probably too deep for him. Much calmer waters here in a race where everything has questions. I should touch on the main dangers. Tinker Toy and Handicap Debut can win at that price. It's hard to weigh up his form and his mark. He's well bred, but this is a different kettle of fish. He still looked a bit immature in his head. To my eyes, watching him last time out, but he's entitled to improve. And then there's the Tregoning horse, who could have absolute stacks in hand. 399 days off. Market support may be significant. He's probably the one I fear most. But of course, yeah, first run in 400 days is a tough task. But Tregoning's having a great season. He's well bred, obviously, as these colours. And yeah, he would be the one I fear, actually. The rest of them are much of a muchness from a handicapping perspective, and I'd like to think Blackheath will have them beat if running his race. but the two unexposed ones are to fear, but I'm happy to take them on at the prices. I should say, as always, the tips are listed in the order that I make a decision and get to them. We had the first update at around 8 a.m., the second around 9 a.m., and I've kind of decided that's that. The 5 o'clock at Newmarket, she was kind of Four's expressionism, but she's kind of was there. Then there was a non-runner Tempe rule for 7-2 was around plenty, which I'll probably declare at. Charlie Appleby's obviously in form. He's rarely out of it. He does well with handicap debutants, although you kind of have to pick them. Although surprisingly, they're still profitable to SP. Obviously, he does very well at his local tracks. She's lightly raced. She's Galileo. She looks like she's got class. I thought she may just be better than these. Obviously, she has to prove it from this mark of 96. This Kempton run, well, all of her form has worked out pretty well, to be honest. She had some good horses around there that would go on to be rated a fair bit higher, and in the kind of late 90s and early hundreds. That Lingfield run wasn't too bad either. The winner there was rated 113, Group 1 winner for Coolmore. She was leading really deep into that. Then she had a break. She returned in a listed race, decent run at Newmarket. She looks a strapping fine filly, and she was staying on there at the end under Will Buick, who I assume is in France, I think. James Doyle is up at Newbury to ride a couple for Appleby. That may be significant. So again, you could look at James Doyle's rides elsewhere, but Kevin Stott only had a couple of rides for Appleby. Given the jockey situation, blah blah blah. I won't overthink that. He's a great rider. The way in, she is a trainer profile pick, and for the new Stott angles, the pace thing interested me as well. You never really want to be back here in any race, really, ideally, other than one of those at Doncaster I'll get onto in a moment. But he may be able to lead, or in any case, he'll be able to dictate his own pace on the front end. She looks like this trip could unlock plenty more. Obviously, she will need to improve, but I thought she could just be better than these. And 4-1 at the time was fair. I think 7-2 just about okay. Hopefully she can pay for the rest, but she should run a race. She should be staying on come the end. She's Galileo. She won't mind if there's a bit of rain. They watered yesterday. I don't think there's any rain around as yet. So that's her overwrite in the 225 at Newbury. Let's have a look. I'm ticking around to 8 minutes. I'll try and keep this under 12. I just thought from this mark of 92, kind of 8-1 generally was a couple points too big. I think a bit of cut is fine. That Newcastle run was decent. That Ascot run was solid. Haley dropped her whip. He seemed to handle the ground. He tried to lead. Yeah, it was the Britannia. Trying to lead one of those races is pretty hard going, but he stayed up there for a long time. Calusi was in a different league. He's got winners in around him from that race. As you'd expect, it was a Royal Ascot handicap. It's working out okay. Look at Toro Strike, Overwrite won himself. You've got a couple of winners here. Look at the marks, the ratings. That was a much deeper race than this, I think. And that was a decent enough run, actually. I'm not quite sure he stays a stiff 8 or 10 furlongs. He then won at Windsor on Good to Firm. I tipped him along with Zabiel Champion. There were the two MJ horses in that particular handicap that he'd won 5 times in the last 7. He was a bit keen there. He a bit over raced. Dettori, because of that, took him out to the middle to try and settle him. Wrong part of the track. He was up there for a long way. He over raced a little bit, and I don't think he got home. He kind of stopped as he hit the hill. I think 8 furlongs in this kind of good to soft ground will be fine. I wouldn't want it to be a bog, but he's 8-1. That Goodwood run only got collared late. The front 2 well clear. Career best RPR. I think that was a solid enough race, actually. He then at Bath, he did far too much on the front end. The front 2 got racing a long way out. They folded in, fell into a hole a bit. That was firm ground. I can put a line through that. Of course, this might be one run too many, going to the well, one too many times, but it's Mark Johnston. I like David Probert as a jockey. His track record's okay, although not brilliant. He's ridden a winner for MJ in the last year and actually this season. I didn't know if Andrea may have had the choice, but I wasn't going to overthink that. I say that given that he won on him at Windsor, obviously, but David Probert's an excellent jockey. Pace-wise, you can see here they'll be up there. He'll be sitting in second or third. I think he'll be in a no excuses position, hopefully in this prominent position. Let a couple of others go on. The dangers, Afak may win this. It was just a price judgment. I thought 4-1 or so looked about right. He's on his joint career high mark. He can win from 103, 9 stones 13. It's going to be tough. He's got to, the blinkers have to work again, but he's solid and he's hardy and he looks like he'll run his race, and that may be enough. So I can understand why he's supported, but I thought his price felt about right. Jabath has some improvement to do, but may do it. I do fear the two Maktoum horses in this, Shadwell horses, and yeah, but I was happy to leave. But they both actually hit the H strategy. So we shall see. If one of those three wins, not too bad. But I really want Overwrite to outrun his odds, which I think he will do. And of course, he's a 3-year-old. He's getting chunks of weight, and I think that might tell in the end if he can settle Doss along near the front end and then kick. I think he'll keep going and hopefully provide us with a winner. Finally, there's a poke at Doncaster in the 4:35. What did I like about Lumu? Went into the notebook after this run at Ayr. Yes, it was a small field, but it worked out well. His Wolves form, that class 4 and this class 2, that was solid form off 87, RPR 97. He's equally as effective on turf. A repeat of that run puts him bang there in this race. That Ayr run was good, first run of the season. The ground wasn't ideal for the last twice. He can also be a bit keen, and what I was really interested in was this big field, strong pace. He's a strong traveller. Paul Mulrennan's back on. The draw, the stalls are against the far side, so I think that means high will be against the far rail, low coming out into the middle. If I sort that by draw, so we've got high against that far side as you're looking at the TV, you can see these that like to lead. He's down here on the wing. I'm not sure if that's going to be ideal, but there's a bit of pace in the middle. Not too far away from him. Maybe they'll converge and move up the middle. I'm not sure. He should be able to get cover if he can just tuck him in, sitting behind maybe Northwind. Those two will go on and drag the field along. I thought in this pace setup might be ideal for him and actually allow him to settle, drop his head and finish his race. I think he's handicapped to win. I think he's got the ability to take this. Like I said, he travels well, he finishes off his race. I think this pace setup in this bigger field and this good to firm ground, no rain forecast, hopefully that's correct, will be absolutely ideal for him. And I think he's a lively outsider at 16-1 in what looks to me a very open race where you could make a case for quite a few, which is an ideal position to be in when going for a biggie. If I'm getting to 5 p.m. need Expressism to win, that'll be a bit annoying. Hopefully one of the other three will have gone in by then, but it's a Saturday. It's competitive stuff. I've gone for some big pokes by the last one. A couple of them might fall out the back of the TV, who knows? But we've got a lovely profit pile to play with. That's what I was going to say. I need to update that Betfair SP of yesterday's winner, which was actually 6-7-1, I think. So that will be a bit higher than that. So yeah, with that said, hopefully you found some of that interesting. Best of luck with any tips and any bets, I should say, as always. And enjoy your Saturday afternoon, early evening of racing. Fingers crossed one of these can go in. I'd bite your hand off for two of them going in right now. So we shall see. But yes, I'm ticking round to 15 minutes. That's as short as this can be, given 4 tips on those race types. And with that said, yes, thanks for watching. And until the next time, this is Josh saying bye for now.